Vivian Pettigrew was an educator in Charleston County Schools for decades. Now she wants to bring her classroom experience to the boardroom, where she wants to become the next Charleston County School Board member to represent District 5, parts of the North area. I talk one-on-one with Ms. Vivian for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Vivian Pettigrew, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. You know, you are a native North Charleston and actually have been an educator for the past 30 plus years. Now you are actually a candidate for the District 5, which covers parts of North Charleston, Charleston County School Board. Tell me, because I interviewed you a couple of years ago when you first ran for the school board, why Ms. Vivian Pettigrew, why the school board again?
Well, over the years, not too much has changed, Quintin. Vivian Pettigrew is a native of North Charleston, born and bred, went to the public schools in North Charleston, public schools and high school. My children are there. I grew up in North Charleston. My district runs from Rivers Avenue in Dorchester to Latson Road, covers a wide area.
Wow.
There are people there that I know and many, just about all of the communities. If you walk Dorchester Road, I can be the eyes and ears for those people. Many of the parents feel disconnected from the schools that their children attend. I volunteered in many of those schools. I know a lot of the principals, many of the teachers, seeing some of them come through C.A. Brown and Burke High School, North Charleston High School, Stall, many of the schools that some people don't see as being a good school. But I know that these people, they know me. They know that my word is true, and I will stand by what I say. I will be their eyes and their ears.
Well, let me ask you this, Vivian. You obviously know a lot of people in that particular community and in that district, District 5. So when you look at the growth, what is the pace of growth right now in District 5?
Right now, the growth is, as far as the overall population, it's about 48% African American, 11% others, and 49% Caucasian. You know, people have been transit in and out of the city of Charleston. People moved West Ashley and other places, but North Charleston is in the center of everything. So the growth of North Charleston is going to look quite different in the next few years.
So what are those growth projections right now for District 5?
As far as actually numbers, Quintin, I cannot tell you that I have those actual numbers, but I've lived in North Charleston all my life. Areas of Ackaby, Liberty Hill.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I even know about the Macon everywhere. I've looked at Bentoman Homes and how that has changed over the years. I see over in the Wayland section, property being bought up. All the way down Dorchester Road, there was a Trailwood Trailer Park. It's no longer there. Boeing's have taken over. With large companies coming in and out of our area, we're going to see some major changes in North Charleston.
So let me ask you this, Ms. Vivian. How should the Charleston County School District prepare for that growth with smart growth?
Well, with smart growth, we need to make sure that our buildings, the structure of our buildings, are safe. We need to make sure that they have the necessary certified people in the classrooms to deal with the children from every ethnicity that there is. We need from every income level there is, for parents who are engaged, parents who are not engaged as much. Even our Hispanic speaking population, we need to have bilingual people working with these children. We need to make sure that our budget actually meets the needs of what's in our schools.
You point out a couple of important things I want to break down. Okay, so what is the current budget for the Charleston County School District right now?
Well, right now I think we have $640 million for 2023, and I can't give you the actual breakdown, but a lot of, I can say for myself, I want that budget to be as transparent as it can be. And our number one thing, we need to put our students first where their education is concerned. We need to make sure that those physical responsibilities are met that are in our strategic plan for 2023-24. Students first. We need to cut all the frills and everything to make sure that our students have and the teachers have every resource necessary for us to bridge the gap in our reading and in our math scores.
Is putting students first a policy position?
Yes, sir, it is. Students first.
And obviously, when you talk about that budget, let me ask you this, Ms. Vivian. What would you order right now on the Charleston County School Board if you could?
What would I what?
Audit on the school board if you could.
Audit?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry about the background noise here. I don't know where it's coming from.
That's okay. I would like to see how those funds have actually been spent for student achievement and where they're spent. Sometimes we bring in programs and they last 6 months and we don't use them anymore. Let's make sure that we are choosing the best items and information that we can. I believe that our educators are strong. We need to engage them when making decisions. That's why I feel like we need to have, our districts need to have boots on the ground, people working and talking with teachers and principals to really know what they need. Every one of these districts are different.
Right.
Some need more, some need less. And where less is needed, we spend less. When more is needed, we spend more.
And you said something very interesting just a few seconds ago, but let me ask you this, Ms. Vivian. What is the achievement gap between minority students and non-minority students?
The achievement gap is wide, Quintin. When a long time ago, and I know things have changed, and some have changed for the better, and some have not. We need to make sure that we have basic core instructions in math and in reading. Yes, science and history and all of those things are important, but if a student can't read, they can't achieve in any of those other areas.
So what are the reading levels for, African American students and Hispanic students in District 5?
It's very, very much below what the other students are.
So when you put that on the scale with, say, District 2 or District 3, what does that look like year to year?
Year to year, it's been declining. We've had achievements now. Let me make sure I say that, but there have been an achievement. There are schools that are doing a great job. But when a student is behind, it takes time to bring them up to where they need to be. But we need to put more resources. We need to cut these class sizes.
I was going to ask you about that later in the interview, but let's just jump right into it. Smaller classes would raise student achievement by what percentage, Ms. Vivian?
I really believe that it would raise student achievement at least anywhere from 30 to 50%. Because when a teacher really has the opportunity to work with students one-on-one, and our TAs in Charleston County Schools are wonderful people. I don't believe they get the pay that they deserve, but they work hard with students. And when you have two people working with one student, things happen.
Yes, ma'am. So, okay, when you think of those small classes, Ms. Vivian, and hold on while I think about this and say this because of background noise, but how small is small and for how long when it comes to class sizes?
I think that we should not have more than 18 kids in a class. And I think as we continue to see progress, if that is what's working, let it continue to work.
And
Our kindergartners,
yes, ma'am.
preschool through third grade, if we can get them on the right track, they will soar, Quintin.
And what's that like right now when you look at the data from from K to 5 in your district?
Right now, those students are not. Right now, I can say that those third graders, second graders, first graders are not achieving where they need to be. 28 kids in a class. It's no way when a kid is now behind and a teacher has to deal with 28 students with no assistance. No, that is not working.
So with that class size, Ms. Vivian, how much does it actually cost to reduce a class size?
Well, I can't tell you that exactly, but whatever it takes with $640 million, I know it can be done. We need to minimize some of our administrative costs. You know, we spend money sometimes unnecessarily.
Let me go right to it because I'm sitting really right close to 75 Calhoun Street. So when you look at those salaries that a lot of those administrators are actually getting, that is, how does the Charleston County School District, or how should the Charleston County School District justify all of this?
Well, Quintin, I know that being an administrator is a large responsibility, but being a teacher is even a bigger responsibility. Resources are a bigger responsibility. And in order for us to do the things that are in our strategic plan, we're going to have to cut the fat. Yes, we want to bring qualified people, but yes, we want qualified teachers. So somewhere there has to be a balance. And we need to look at that, take a long, hard look at where that money and how it's being spent. And our personal budgets, sometimes we have to cut things back, change some things. Once one thing is taken care of financially, put that money somewhere else. So that's how we must be responsible.
Yes, ma'am. And speaking of teachers, I know this is a couple of complicated questions coming. Do you know how many out-of-state teachers has the Charleston County School District hired thus far?
I don't know the exact numbers, but based on the information, talking with parents and principals, we have a lot of out-of-state people. I do believe that we need to do better recruitment with local people here in Charleston. Not saying that the out-of-state teachers are not good teachers, because I've met a lot of people who've come to Charleston and are excellent teachers, willing, ready, and able to do the job. So, but we don't have a lot of teachers who are local. We aren't utilizing our local colleges, USC, Clemson, South Carolina State,
Yes.
Benedict,
Yes.
Claflin University.
Sure.
We need to bring those. And you know, one time we used to push and encourage our children to be teachers. We don't do that anymore. Education is a great job. Somebody had to teach everybody that is a doctor, is a lawyer, is a news reporter, a fireman, a nurse. They all came through a teacher.
What is the current teacher retention rate right now in District 5?
What is the what?
Yes, ma'am. What is the current teacher retention rate right now in District 5?
So far in District 5, it has not really been bad, but across the district, we are not retaining some of the better teachers. Some are moving to Dorchester County, Berkeley County, because they feel like they are more appreciated. The salary is a little bit better, but here again, I digress. Teaching is always, for me, it's been a profession that people respect, and I think we need to respect our teachers even more. We need to give them the props and the credit that they deserve. Uh, when your kid comes home and says, "My teacher said I did a great job," that put a smile on your face. So that should put a smile. You should put a smile on a teacher's face. We need to tell our teachers how much we appreciate them. And I know they need their wages just like everybody else need their wages. Pay them a good salary. But we, more than all, we need to give them more respect and more appreciation for the job that they do.
So, Ms. Vivian, let me ask you this. What incentives would you propose on the school board to help those teachers stay where they are?
We need to give them more incentive, more training if they need it, cut the classroom size, help with the discipline in the building, because that is a major factor. But we need to ask our teachers what they need because we're not in that building. We're not in that school. As I said before, every school is different. Every district is different. But we need to find out what is actually needed in the school, just like every person is different. You're tall and I'm a little short. So, if I want to catch up to you, I need to put on a higher heel. So we have to make sure that we give every school and every district what they really need to be successful. Because some of them, I look at one of the individuals I know out in the Hollywood area, and I'm not going to call his name, but he just graduated, got his master's degree. The students love him. The school is making leaps and bounds with their students, but yet the report card says something else. But there is growth. If I've got a fifth grader who's been behind since second grade, of course he's not going to be on grade level. But they're making leaps and bounds to get that fifth grader now up to fourth grade level. Yes, he's a year behind, but look how far he's come. So we need to let these teachers and the principals know how much we appreciate the work that they do. Parents, for those of you who listen to this show, make your child's education your number one priority.
Yes, ma'am. And a lot of people say that I'm getting a little bit taller by the day, but I hope not. But let me ask you this, Ms. Vivian. How should the Charleston County School District increase their parent engagement in 2023?
I believe that happens on the school level, even on the district level. There should always be information going out to parents from the school, telling them what is going on, the different activities that they're having, not just the fun activity, but the engagement in math, the engagement and reading. Parents, when they have their school improvement council meetings, I think that we need to really push, the schools need to really push to get parents involved. Even in the local district, there can be meetings. We need to go into community meetings and talk to people about this. We need to be able to spread the word on our website. These schools are making these different changes and the work that they're doing with our students. Sometimes we have to just send out literature to parents, but we need to find small ways of making sure that parents are getting information about what's happening in their districts.
So do you believe, Ms. Vivian, I know you talk a lot in community, people know you in the community, you're respected in the community. Do you feel that, or do they feel like the Charleston County School District is being transparent with the students and teachers and the parents?
I don't think some of the schools are as transparent as we need, and I know that safety is an issue. And we have some parents who come in every day But we need those parents whose students are struggling. We need to hear from them. We need to let them know that, yes, we know you work and you work hard trying to take care of your kids, but we want you to know that we appreciate it. And this is what Carolyn is doing. She has gotten this gold star because she's read so many books. And if I could get you to read a book for her every day, it would make even a bigger difference. She can get 5 gold stars because it's going to help her to improve her vocabulary. Make sure the parents understand ways that they can help their students to be successful in their education. It's as simple as that, Quintin. We need to find ways to help our parents, to help the children.
And when you go back to obviously teachers and obviously the teacher pay discussion, as you know, Ms. Vivian, I forgot to ask this, but obviously this is another topic that's going to be a part of the midterm elections next week. But let me talk to you about inflation. Should the Charleston County School District raise teacher salaries to meet today's inflation?
If we have the money, we can. If we don't have all of the money, we can do some. Inflation is no joke. You know what a gallon of milk costs? Car insurance, taxes, just putting gas in your car it's tough. We have teachers who leave school and go work a part-time job. That's hard. And some of those teachers have their own children at home where they need to spend time with them. And some of these people have single family homes that only one person, one income. So if we can, we need to give our teachers the best salaries that we can so that they can spend more time preparing for their classroom and preparing to help our students.
And Ms. Vivian, how much teachers has the Charleston County School District lost over all of this as far as teachers paid?
How many teachers?
Yes, ma'am.
I know a few of them personally, and I beg them not to go, that things will get better. Some have stayed, some have gone. But I think it's more than just the pay. I think it's the lack of respect. When you get up every morning and you come to do a job, you've got 25 kids in a class and they all need your attention, and some are vying for your attention more than others. And you're the only person there. Your principal is giving you a lot of reports that need to be filled out. You're staying till I see some teachers at schools at 7 o'clock at night. That's a lot. We need to give them the resources, and one of those resources I truly believe is cutting class size. It's not only going to help them for more than anything, it's going to help the one person that we're concerned about, and that is our students.
And you talked a little bit earlier about obviously discipline in the schools these days. Do you know what was the percentage of suspensions and expulsions in District 5 by race and ethnicity?
No, I don't know the exact number, Quintin, but I can find that out. But we shouldn't have students being suspended on a rate that they are. We've got, I think it's Liberty Hill Academy and Daniel Jenkins. We see some of those students sent to those schools, and from those schools, it's back to the streets, and back to the streets, it's back to jail. We need to stop that cycle. Again, parent involvement. I understand there's a different generation of parents, but when it all boils down, it's about your child's success. That's the only thing that matters. Every parent wants to see their child to grow up to be a productive citizen in the world, and that they can have a job. I know that everybody doesn't go to college, but they have a job that they can earn money and they are able to take care of themselves. To be productive and to be respectful is another thing that we have stepped away from.
You know, Ms. Vivian, when I entered Burke High School back in 1999 as a freshman, they had a lot of trade schools over there and trade programs. What trade programs today could benefit your district, District 5, if you could bring those back?
What? Well, you came to Burke where there was trade at Burke. I remember when there was CREOC, it was Career Center.
Right.
So that goes back even further.
Yes.
We've come full circle because now we have North Charleston, the Technical Center there, Mount Pleasant has one, West Ashley has one. I've always felt that those schools needed to be right there in the midst of everything in the actual school, because that's where the students are. Why do we have to send students here and send students there? We need to have everything in one place. And yes, they are now here, and we need to utilize them. But we need to make sure that wherever that child is, if he's going to be an electrician, he's going to be a plumber, because I need one right now. And they make good money, but we need to teach them that there's nothing wrong with that. Money is green, spends everywhere you go. So we need to make sure that we have the facilities there that can benefit our students.
Do they have the infrastructure in place?
I believe that the infrastructure needs to be looked at, Quintin, because every child doesn't get to go to some of those facilities. And I believe that every child who wants to should have the opportunity to be there. And again, that starts from kindergarten. We have to make sure that we are directing our students where they need to go, where they think that they need to go. Some of them will go to college, some of them will go to a vocational school and still go to college.
Right.
Some gone to college and come back and got vocational degrees. But whatever works for them when they find themselves, as they say, I'm still finding myself. But it's there, it's accessible to every child in every neighborhood from every walk of life.
And speaking of neighborhood, let me go back to District 5. The current income levels right there, right now.
Right now, the average income level, what we call average, I don't know what some people call average, but it's about $48,000 a year. And that's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money.
And obviously, as you mentioned earlier, your particular district have a lot of bilingual residents and students and teachers. So how many bilingual teachers are there right now in District 5, and how many more do you need for the next 5 years?
The next 5 years, our population is fastly growing. I don't know the exact numbers. I knew you would be asking me numbers, Quintin. Unless you down more numbers, but I don't know the numbers. But I can see that there are a lot of bilingual students in our schools. Just go to the drop-off lines in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Watch the kids walking and coming and going in schools. You'll see them. So you know what is happening. Ask the children. Ask the educators. They'll tell you any number you want to know.
Ms. Vivian, what other new programs besides trade would you want to bring to District 5 right now, if you could?
I'd like to see those programs enhance some of those programs, because there are still other careers that are not being utilized, and we have a lot of people that are in barbering.
Oh, yes. And
we don't have any of those in our vocational schools. We have a lot of technical training in those schools, which is really good, because that's where we are headed. And I'm still learning a lot of technical things from my grandchildren who are not in those schools, but they know. So we're going to be growing in that area. And we really need to make sure that we have the people to fill the jobs right here in Charleston. We don't have to bring people from all over the United States, even though I know everybody wants to come to Charleston.
Right.
But we need to make sure that our students here are skilled in those areas to get these jobs.
Yeah, and I know, well, I know where I live, right over on, well, right on the east side, of course, as you know. They were bringing a barbering school over to Columbus Street, so that should be exciting.
Yes, yes, they are.
Yeah. And Ms. Vivian, while I have you, let me talk to you about the school board. As you know, they're in the search right now for a new superintendent. Should that new superintendent search in your mind be left to the new school board if you all are to be elected?
I believe that we should play a great part in that because the board is going to be practically brand new. And we all come from 9 different areas. And we know what those 9 different areas need. So when we bring those thoughts and ideas together, Quintin, we know what we're looking for. Even though we're 9 people, we're one board. And that's one of the things I want us to always remember. We're one board, and we're advocating for one, one issue,
Right.
and that's the education of our children. Excuse me. But we need to make sure that that board should have. I believe that board should have an intricate part in selecting the superintendent.
And I know that the board and some of the school board members have pushed back on this, but reportedly they're proposing to basically delegate the majority of its policy decisions to the superintendent. You are an experienced educator over 30 years. What best practices can come out of all of this?
I believe that as being a part of the board, the superintendent is a part of us, and we are part of the superintendent. So that's why I think we need to join forces, even though the superintendent will make decisions. Again, when we hire someone, we need to make sure that that someone, again, is listening to the board, hearing what our teachers are telling us, hearing what the teachers are telling them, telling him or her what the principals are saying, hearing what the community says, and make the best decision for Charleston County Schools.
Obviously, you have Donald Kennedy right now as they say, the interim superintendent. Would you vote to keep him on as permanent superintendent?
That wasn't fair, Quintin. I think that I'd like to see someone who is really come through the ranks and knows about teaching, knows Mr. Kennedy I believe he's doing a good job. That is not his area, but he's doing the best he can with all of the people who surround him and give him input. I'm not sure if I would want him for a superintendent. I'd have to look at all the candidates that are being brought to us to make the best decision. And that's what I think as school board members, we need to make the best decision for the one issue that we have, educating students.
And you talked a lot about principals in this particular interview. How should Charleston County School Districts, well, this district that is, increase retention of effective principals?
I think that those principals, everybody wants to get paid. And I understand getting paid, but we need to pay them a reasonable salary. We need to make sure that they too are given those accolades that they need to want to stay. I look at Mr. Henry Darby, who's come a long ways, being a teacher, coach, now a principal.
Yes.
He knows the area, he knows the people. So those are the kind of people we want to look for, Quintin. And sometimes it's not all homegrown, but when you know the area, you understand it. It makes a big difference. I know that people that come from other places that live in similar areas that are like this, they understand the issues. They understand the people, but I think we need to make the best decisions that we can prayerfully to find us a good superintendent and to keep our teachers and our principals here at our schools.
And of course, he was my, speaking of Burke, he was my teacher in 11th grade, the U.S. history teacher, so I know him
Yes,
very well.
yes.
Hope to get him back on Quintin's Close Up soon so we can talk about county council issues. Why did you get endorsed by the Democratic Party for a nonpartisan race?
I believe I was endorsed because of the issues that I stood for. I was, someone told me that I was in the newspaper for the Post and Courier as one of their picks.
Right.
But the best endorsement I got overall, Quintin, was my 90-year-old mother and my 8-year-old grandson. They said, Mama and baby, you can do this. Keep talking and encouraging people, and what is for you, you receive. That's my number one endorsement.
Did you seek the endorsement of the Democratic Party of Charleston County?
No, sir. I just attended the workshops like everybody else did, and I spoke at their forum just like everyone else did.
So did they explain to you, Ms. Vivian, the process about their endorsement of you?
No, no one ever explained any endorsement to me.
Now, obviously, this is going to be a nonpartisan school board. How nonpartisan will you be on the school board if elected?
I am totally nonpartisan. I'm going to work for my district. That's my number one. As I told you before, I know that we are 9 people who come from many different areas. We have many different expectations. But when it all comes down, in order for us to be successful, we have to speak with one voice. And that is my major concern, that we speak with one voice for the entire Charleston County Schools.
Ms. Vivian Pettigrew, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you so very much for Quintin for having me. And thank you for the hard questions. I hope I answered them.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.